So one question I'm often asked is, how do you become a dealer? Today, I'm going to explain to you the process of becoming a dealer and give you 3 things you can start doing right now to help you on your path to becoming a table games dealer. So if you're one of those people who was asking that question, then this video is for you, because I'm going to explain to you the steps it takes to become a dealer, and I'm going to give you 3 things that you can start working on right now that will help you become a dealer. Now, what are the steps or the process it takes to become a dealer? Just like any other trade or craft, in order to learn how to be a dealer, you have to go to school. A barber goes to barber school, a hairstylist goes to cosmetology school. So a dealer also has to go to dealer school. Now, if you live in Vegas, you have several options. There are a few dealer schools to choose from. If you don't live here in Las Vegas, then you have to Google gaming schools or dealer schools in your area and see if there are any that are available. If you don't have dealer schools, then you can check with your local community college and or university and see if they offer courses that teach you how to deal certain games, certain table games. For example, I didn't go to dealer school. I was an employee of the casino already, so I went to a community college and took a 4-week course on how to deal the game of craps. Now, in those 4 weeks, they taught me certain things like I'm going to show you today that helped me become a dealer. I still don't know the game of craps, but in those 4 weeks, I was taught other things that are necessary to learn in any game that helped me become a dealer. So, if you can receive your training either through schooling, or if you can find a dealer who would be willing to give you one-on-one coaching on teaching you the policies and procedures of whatever game they are qualified to teach you in, or they know best that they can teach you in, then you can learn that way. The cool thing about being a dealer is you don't need an actual license to deal. You don't need to, when you graduate dealer school, you don't graduate with a license that you take to show your employer that you are qualified to be a dealer. You just have to be able to learn the game well enough that you can go and pass an audition. Now, that leads us into the next step. Once you pass dealer school and you learn the game and you've gotten comfortable with how to deal it, then the next thing you want to do is start applying for dealer positions, going on interviews so you can be given an audition. In the audition, you're going to be placed on either a live game with real customers in the casino or a simulated game with different dealers and managers actually making wagers and placing bets, and then watching you deal and see if you pay those bets correctly. Now, if you are able to pass an audition, then more than likely you will be offered a job. And it's pretty much that simple. Once you learn how to deal the games, you apply, you pass an audition, and if you pass an audition, you receive the job. And then once you become a dealer, then the only thing you have to do after that, in most casinos, you will need a background check. So you have to get fingerprints done, and then you have to apply for a gaming license or gaming permit, which you purchase, and you renew it every 5 years, I believe, or something like that. But that's it. The process is simple. The biggest thing is learning how to deal these games. So I'm going to give you 3 things right now that you can start practicing to help you learn how to be good at dealing these games. And these 3 things will help you go a long way in that process. So the first thing you want to be good at is the handling of chips. No matter what game you decide you want to learn how to deal, you are going to have to be good at handling chips. So I'm going to give you a couple things you can do to practice to get good at handling chips. The first thing is what we call mucking of chips. What do I mean by mucking of chips? Basically means the picking up or gathering of chips. So you get about 3 different colored chips, mix them all together, and practice picking them up, or like I said, the term is called mucking chips. So how do you do that? Well, you take your thumb and your index finger, you start with one color, let's say green, and you pick up a chip. Just like that. Use both hands with your thumb and your index, picking them up in your hand and gathering the chips as such. Not mixing up any colors, getting just those colors that you're doing at one time, put them in one stack and finish your muck. Then you move to the next color. Again, thumb and index finger. And as you continue to practice and get better, you should get faster. And you should be able to pick up chips very quickly. Right now, you'll be real slow. Don't get frustrated. I could barely do this when I got started. But after years and years of practice and doing it, you get good at handling and mucking up chips. You're going to need to know that, especially on roulette. If you don't have what we call a mucker or a chipper machine to do the sorting of the chips for you, you are going to have to be able to sort them yourself. So knowing how to muck up chips and being able to do that quickly and rapidly, because you're going to have multiple chips to do, multiple colored chips to do, especially if you have a big roulette game where you have a lot of chips. You have to be able to pick up all those chips pretty quickly in order to get to the next spin. So know how, practice getting good with mucking up chips. Another thing you want to be able to do good with chips is what we call drop cutting of chips. Now, how do you drop cut chips? Well, you practice with a stack of chips in your hand. And you roll off chips and push down them on the table. Roll and push. That's drop cutting chips. You take a certain denomination of chips. Say you want 3 chips. You roll 3 chips with your thumb off the stack. And you use your index finger to push it down. That's called drop cutting. You want to be able to drop cut. You want to be able to do it with your left hand as well. 3 chips, drop cut. 4 chips, drop cut. 4 chips, drop cut. 3 chips, drop cut. You want to be able to practice that because drop cutting is going to be very useful, especially in, like I said, games like craps and other games where you want to make payouts by drop cutting your chips. Okay? So, practice that. Also, once you get good with drop cutting, or you feel like you've gotten drop cutting down, now you want to practice sizing in the chips as well. Well, what do I mean by sizing? So you have a bet there and you want to pay it because it just won. You're going to take your chips and you're going to size into the bet using your index finger. You're going to pull away so that the bet evens out the exact same amount. You want to keep doing that over and over. So you've gotten good at sizing in the chips. You want to be able to do it with both hands, left hand as well. Size into it, pull with your index finger so it's leveled out. So you make sure you have the exact amount. And it works out perfect, right? It's called sizing into the bet. If you're on any game and you have to go out and make payouts, you're probably going to take your chips, you're going to size into the bets. You're going to size into them. So practice sizing. That will help you. So those are 3 things you can do right now to start working on strengthening your hands and getting good with dealing with chips so that you will be able to maneuver and work with chips in an 8-hour day easily, and it'll be natural to you with the handling of chips. So practice that. That's one. The second thing you want to get good at is the handling of cards. If you're on a game such as blackjack, payouts, baccarat, they require you to handle cards. So you should be able to be good at doing certain things with cards. One of those things is being able to shuffle them. If you do not know how to shuffle cards and you want to be a dealer, you better start practicing now. Taking a deck of cards, splitting them in two, taking your thumb and your index finger, and shuffling cards, riffing one card between the next, between each deck, so that they shuffle between the two. Gather them together as such. Keep doing this over and over and over until you've gotten good at shuffling, till it just comes natural. You feel very comfortable with the shuffling of cards. Now, once you've gotten shuffling down, the next thing you want to work on is your placement of cards. What do I mean by placement? Well, for example, if you're dealing blackjack, you have people sitting in each section. You want them to know what hand is theirs clearly, and so they can identify which is which, not only for the player, but for yourself and for your floorman who's watching the game and for your surveillance people who are surveilling the game. Everybody wants to be able to see hands and the cards clearly and easily. So your card placement is going to be important. So what you want to do, have cards in your hand and you want to practice your placement of cards. Now, proper placement of cards is on the corner of the card that's laying before it. So every card you put down, you want to put the new card on top of it, right on the corner. So each card, as you go down, is still visible to the eye. Everyone can see it, and there's no confusion as to what card is being shown. Do this over and over. Just keep practicing putting cards on the proper placement so that everyone can easily and visibly see what card is showing. What you do not want to do is have your cards close together so you cannot see, or they're not far apart. You want to make sure that nothing's being covered. They're not on the side of each other or covering the other card so you can barely see it. You want to make sure your placement looks good. So practice on the corner of each card so it's visible to everyone watching. Okay? Simple, but very effective if it's done properly. And again, you have to practice these things because you would think it's easy, but it won't come naturally. You will have to practice these in order to get it right. So you do want to take time to practice your chips and your handling of cards. Very important. Now, the third thing you want to work on, you can start doing this right now. Memorizing payouts. Obviously, the making of payouts is critical because, one, you want to make sure you get it correct. You do not want to short a player their payment, right? And you do not want to overpay a player and have the casino upset with you because you're overpaying more than what the person is supposed to be paid. You want to know your payouts, right? You want to be accurate with your payouts. So a good thing to do is memorize your payouts up front. Know what they're going to be before you have to make the calculations or before they happen, so that you are better at making your payouts. So what I did, I started with blackjack. If I'm on a blackjack table that pays 3-2 for every blackjack, I know that a $5 blackjack that pays 3-2 is going to pay $7.50. How do you calculate a $5 3-2 blackjack payout? Like this. You take the $5, you cut it in half. Half of $5 is $2.50. You take $2.50, add it back into the 5, and you have $7.50. That's your payout. So if somebody has a $5 blackjack, I'm going to pay them $7.50 on a 3-2 blackjack odds table, right? It's a $10 bet and it gets a blackjack. Well, I take 10, I cut it in half, that's $5. Add 5 back into 10, the blackjack payout is $15. So for every $10 blackjack, I'm gonna pay $15. $15. Cut it in half, that's $7.50. Take $7.50, put it back into 15, that's $22.50. For every $15 blackjack, I'm gonna pay $22.50. You do that from 5, 10, 15, all the way down to 100. Calculate each 3 to 2 payout and memorize it. That will help you a long way with your payouts. It'll be hard for you to forget them because you will have them memorized. And trust me, every time you make that payout, you're gonna remember what it is. And as dealers go on throughout the years, they go with memorizing. They don't do calculations hardly because they've done the payout so many times. So the same for you. Memorize the payouts so that every time you do it, it just comes natural because you already have it memorized. I would suggest you do the same thing for a 6 to 5 table if you're doing blackjack. Most blackjack tables either pay 6 to 5 odds on a blackjack or 3 to 2 odds. So know them both. On a 6 to 5, how do you calculate blackjacks? Well, for every $5, you're gonna pay $6. So, somebody has a $5 blackjack on a 6 to 5 table, you pay them $6. Somebody has $10 on a 6 to 5 blackjack table, you pay them $12, right? For every 5, they get 6. Every 5, you get 6. 10, you get 12. 15, you get 18. For every 5, you get 6. My suggestion, memorize payouts. It'll help you a long way with becoming a dealer. You can start that process right now before you even go to school. You will impress your instructor and other people in the class if you already know the answers to the payouts before they do because you've already started practicing and memorizing those payouts. So, in summary, 3 things. Get good with chips. Get good with cards. Get good with memorizing payouts. And you will greatly enhance your chances of becoming a dealer. I hope this helps you. Please, if you have questions, something that you didn't understand, put in the comment section. I'll be sure to answer them. Like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. God bless.